Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be trying to figure out why the Durango is not starting. So yesterday I was connecting batteries to it. It seemed like it had a short to ground. So on my way home, I took the battery from the Durango to the parts store and they tried to charge it. So this production date was 3/21 and this battery has a dead cell. So I got a brand new battery. So I'm going to stick the brand new battery in there, see if it does the same thing. And then I'll just kind of diagnose it from there and try to figure out what is going on with this, why it's not starting. It has to be something with the battery or a fuse or a breaker or something because all the airbags went off. My Hellcat also had a lot of the curtain airbags, the steering wheel, the dash, etc., but it still started. So I don't think it's an issue with the airbags being deployed. New battery is in, and this time the battery terminal didn't spark. The negative battery terminal didn't spark. So I'm guessing there was an internal short in the battery, which was giving me that weird issue. So let's try to start the Durango and maybe she'll start up. Round, I'm not exactly sure how many times I've tried this, but still not doing it. Sounds like the fuel pump's coming on. So went through the fuse panel in the engine bay, and a lot of these fuses, there wasn't any blown ones, but a lot of them were kind of sticking up. And once I pushed them all down, I checked them all, then I pushed them all down. Now the driver seat moves forward and back. It wasn't doing that yesterday. So let's try to fire her up. Hopefully that was it. All right, come on. Ah, why? Work! Just work! Start! It won't let me shift it into... It won't let me shift it in neutral. That's strange. Usually it does when you have it on accessory. I wonder if this airbag, when it popped, if it messed up the brake sensor. Oh, there's all that stuff in the way. I need to pull this off. I will put a link in the description for this scanner. It's Topton scanner. They sent this to me a while back and it works really good. So it's showing that a brake pedal position sensor is active. So it's and it has a bunch of different codes for it. So that would really cause it to not start. And the brakes are really hard right now. I don't know what's going on with them. So I'm gonna try clearing this stuff out and then try to figure out what's going on with this brake pedal position sensor. A subscriber messaged me and said that there is a fuse block on the back of the strut tower on the passenger side, and usually when the airbags go off, these pop, but unfortunately in my case, mine is good. So I'm still trying to figure out what this issue is. It's weird. I spun the engine over by hand to make sure it wasn't hydrolocked with oil or anything like that, because you know, I 100% don't know it wasn't on its side or upside down, but it turns over fine and it still checks out. So this is good. This is another thing to check off the list. This fuse box here, I could close up. This is good. And I think even though that the ABS pump just has a little tiny hole in it right there, in the electronic module, so the brakes are hard. It says it doesn't have a brake sensor position, and the last time my ABS pump was unplugged, it had this same issue. So unfortunately, I think when I pull that off, it's a sealed unit and it's going to leak all the fluid out. But I'm going to find out, because if it is this module, I could just order another one, which I'm going to have to anyway because it has a hole in it. I'm not going to leave it like that. But if this is the issue, it'd be really nice to be able to start it. But I still don't understand why the brakes are as hard as they are. I mean, they're rock hard. I can't even like move them barely. I don't see any pinched lines. I don't see anything where down here where something, oh, look at that. That bracket looks kind of bent. I mean, that bracket kind of looks maybe bent. Maybe not. I don't know how it's supposed to look. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. It's just in a really weird angle right there. Like it should come out like that, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. So I'm still looking to figure out what is going on. It also shows an issue with the active suspension. It shows a lot of issues, but I'm trying to get the car started right now, not fix all the issues. Since I can't figure out what is going on with the Durango, and since the ABS pump module is 3 days out, I'm gonna start stripping the rest of the wreck components off of it. I really wanted to get it started with the radiators, but the main radiator is busted, and there still is coolant in the overflow, and I just really don't want it sucking that through the engine and then just pouring all on the ground now. So what I'm gonna do is figure out what I really need to order. I know I need all these coolers as well as a radiator fan. I think that's like 1,200 bucks. And then I need this stuff over here. I already have this new bar, this new core support coming, which it's all bolt in, and then I have the crash bar coming, or it's all used from that Junkyard, and then I have doors, and they're cutting all that stuff off, so that should be here, or they should be done with that in the next couple days, and I should be able to pick that up probably the same time the ABS pump comes, and then by then I should have the radiators and the coolers as well. Finished pulling the whole front apart. There isn't very much damage in the front. I mean, the radiators and the coolers were damaged, but a lot of this stuff was untouched. So on the passenger side, none of the headlight mounting or any of that was damaged. The overflow bottle is good. Also, this coolant reservoir, or not the coolant reservoir, but the windshield washer reservoir, I'm gonna heat it up and this should pop right back out. This also was, I think it's just pushed down a little bit. I think it's such a thin piece of metal I could just flex it up, but it looks very similar to that. Frame rails weren't damaged. Also, I don't think that piece was damaged right there. If it was, it might have a little tiny thing right there I could pop out, but I think really all I'm gonna have to order for the front is the front bumper and all the components for it, and then the coolers. Those are Hellcat specific, and other than that, I have the fender, I have the crash bar, I have the radiator support that goes around this, and all this bolts into it, and that's really what was damaged. So I just set this back on the ground because I was going to pull the quarter panel just so I could pull it out a little bit, and when I set it down, it rolled forward and it clicked in. So it might start now. It might just not have thought that was in park. So let's try to start her. I'm gonna be very excited if she starts up now. Very excited. I probably actually should check everything because I just took a lot of things apart. Actually, I guess we could see. Actually, let me put a hose on the tranny cooler lines so it doesn't shoot a bunch of tranny fluid out. Just loop the tranny cooler lines. Hopefully it doesn't pop off, but let's try to fire up and see. Ooh, I'm glad I saw that. That would not have been a good day. Because then I would have had to buy a new radiator hose. Where am I going to put this so it doesn't leak all the coolant out of it? Ah, oh, come on! Why won't you start? Still nothing. I had an idea. Since it won't start when I'm pressing the brake pedal with the button in there, I'm gonna try to remote start it and we're gonna see if that works. So you lock it. Come on. Oh no, that's, oops, wrong one. I lock it. What's going on here? Remote start canceled. Hood open. Let's plug the hood sensor back in. I plugged the hood sensor back in and I latched it. So let's try to, I'm kind of afraid to stand right here because there's so much coolant and it's just open, but let's see if she'll remote start now. Oh man. Didn't say why. Interesting. It doesn't give me an error, but it doesn't tell me why. So what I'm going to do is jump the starter. I pulled the fuse, or not the fuse, but the relay out just to make sure that the circuit is being completed. And we're going to try to give her a crank and see what happens. So we'll just go like this. Hopefully she cranks. I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult. So, sounds great. Hopefully, come on baby, give it to me. Oh my God. It has to be something with the ABS pump having that hole in it. And it's showing me brake right here. I think even though it's showing check engine and it's showing ABS here, brake here, the brake, parking brake is not on. So I think that's what's going on here. I think it's something with the ABS. Plus the check engine light is flashing, which is weird. I'm not exactly sure why that'd be flashing. Now it's not flashing. quite a while to get the hatch off. I'm not exactly sure what was holding it up because the frame right here looks perfect. It doesn't look like it's damaged. You can see that the quarter panel right there is damaged. I pulled the headliner down right here and you can see that it is into the inner structure right here, but I'm gonna replace that, and that bar or that beam up there is twisted, which that's all part of the inner structure. So that is pretty much why this looks like it is and why the roof is so buckled. But other than that, I don't really see any major damage. Most of this is gonna be, you know, the quarter panel, the one skin of inner structure there. It didn't get into any of the inner structure in here, which is really nice. Back here, it really doesn't look like it did anything. None of this is deformed. I need to measure it still, but just from looking at it, I really just think the hatch was kind of pinched because of this whole situation right here. But I just undid all the bolts and the hinges, and that took quite a while to do. It was kind of a pain, but it did work out. And then after I got everything undone, it still didn't want to unlatch. So not exactly sure why it was doing that, but it could just be because of how the hatch is kind of tweaked. Now that it's off, I could definitely see that the hatch has a weird shape to it. So this is fine over here, but over there, it just got pushed in from this right here. So I think we'll be good to go from, you know, the standpoint of just replacing that one sheet of inner structure, the back inner structure, and then the quarter panel. I'm going to not section in the quarter panel most likely. I'm probably going to just replace the whole thing. So I had that car cut, which I need to pick up tomorrow, right down the center. So I get half a car, which is this whole driver's side. I got the fender, doors, quarter panel, the inner structure. I also have the radiator support and all of that stuff up there. The radiators and all of that stuff is coming tomorrow as well. So I should be able to put all that together. The, like I said before, the ABS pump module is 3 days out, 3 to 5 days out. But other than that, I think we'll be able to get most of this straightened out. I really want to get it started running and driving just so I can make sure there's no issues before I throw all this stuff into the charger and have the same issue where I can't get it started. So I want to verify that everything's going to work, but this thing has a lot of room in it. I mean, if you look at it, there's vents here, there, like pretty much above each set of seats. It's all Alcantara. The headliner's all Alcantara, which it's pretty heavy headliner. And back here, there's plenty of room once the seats, the third row's set down, and everything. I did order another headlight. It was, so the driver's side headlight was back ordered, and it says indefinitely. So hopefully I can get a headlight. If not, I should be able to maybe rob the housing and use my headlight because all my internals are perfectly fine. I think we didn't, yeah, I think we're good on the internals. So I might just rob the internals and just get the housing. I'm not exactly sure yet. Depends on how long it takes to get the headlight. But the headlight was like, I think 1,200 bucks or something like that. So I was expecting it to be expensive, but back here, probably gonna need, is this taillight good? So this taillight's good. The center taillight's bad. That taillight's bad. So I need the center taillight, that taillight. I can pretty much pull all the emblems off of this hatch, and I have that other hatch that I got with the quarter panel cut, which I'll just start putting all the guts and everything in that. But I'll have to paint it first because I want it to look just like this. So I'm very, very impressed because about when I rebuilt the Hellcat, I complained about this, and I'm sure Dodge didn't see it, but they are on point because look at this. All of this has been cleared. I haven't seen a car this new, this, you know, this nice. I mean, there's clear here. You know, most of the time on my Challenger, this was all just dry, especially on the Magnums, it was all dry. Pretty much everything I've seen, this has been dry, and this is nice and cleared. In the front, the whole strut tower, all of this is cleared, and that, as well as the bar back here, is cleared, and the frame rails. So I appreciate Dodge stepping it up with their with their actually using a little bit more clear to get these things, which they're a very expensive vehicle, to get them to last and be nice. Got the rear bumper off and some of the rear quarter panel on the driver's side pulled out. So I'm not really concerned about the outer skin. Once I remove the outer skin, I'm going to start pulling and kind of getting some stuff on the inner structure straightened out before I cut it out, just to remove some of that energy. A lot of people are pretty concerned about that usually, but and then I just want to make sure that everything is going to still line up. But once I get this quarter panel off, I will be getting most of that pulled out, and then I'll start cutting all that out. So most of everything is going to get cut out, which is wrecked. I'm going to replace this whole quarter panel all the way up, since this whole rail is damaged, all the way down. So I do have the whole side of the car, which I may end up drilling the spot welds out and actually removing this quarter panel all the way off of the car and just replacing it as one big section. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm really happy that this quarter panel is out a little bit more than it was, as well as I got the hatch off, I got the rear bumper off, and she's starting to, I mean, the back kind of looks horrible. I mean, it looks a lot worse than it actually is, but I'm just really happy that I was able to get the hatch open. Still, unfortunately, I haven't been able to get the engine started. It does turn over when I jump the relay, which is nice. So my thoughts is that it's that ABS pump module that has the hole in it. In the next video, I'll have all the coolers, I'll have the ABS pump module, and pretty much we can get the whole front of this back together. I won't have the front bumper, but I'll have the other fender, which I probably won't put on just because I need to drill the spot welds out of this whole side of the, I'm gonna replace it as one big section, so I don't have to section anything in or weld anything in, because the 11 up Durangos are the exact same. So I will get this all not really sectioned in, since I have to replace this whole rail. I'm just gonna drill the spot welds out all the way around, all the door spot welds. It'll come off as one big section, and then I'll replace all the inner structure in the back, and I'll actually section that all in, which there usually is some spots where it's spliced in. If I can do it, I'll just put it in where it normally goes, but we'll get all that replaced as well as this beam that buckled. I'll replace that. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to worry about this hatch area right here, but if I do have to, maybe give it a little tug down or something like that. I think just the roof really is where it was at. I don't think anything is deformed here. I do see that this is pushed out a little bit, but it could be because this is pushed out a little bit. So I will have to measure across and figure out if this whole area is affected. But from looking at it and kind of looking side to side, it just really looks like it's quarter panel and outer structure, except up here where it is into the inner structure, because you can see it on the inside. So, and you can see that beam right there is buckled. But it's kind of crazy, all the different ducts and stuff that are in this thing, where it has, you know, AC per seat. So I'm gonna pretty much wrap this Durango video up here. I'm happy that I was able to get the hatch off, get the bumper off, get the whole front pretty much disassembled, get it turned over, and we got all the new parts that we need to get this hopefully running and driving in the next video. But we do know the engine sounds great when she's cranking over. So until next time, we'll get some more Durango footage and content, and hopefully we can get this running, because I want to have it running and driving before I pull the swap out, just so I know I'm not going to have any issues once I put in the charger, because I don't want to go and have to fight wiring and module gremlins. So as always, if you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, thumbs up, throw a comment below, share it with your friends. As always, see you guys next time.